Nominations for the 94th Academy Awards have been announced. Who's favored and who got snubbed? Let's find out. This is Culture Vultures. Hi everyone, Dirk here. It's Hollywood's biggest night when the rich and famous gathered to hand each other trophies for being stunning and brave with movies that the dirty rabble of the general public probably didn't see. Though with the rise of streaming services, that's changing for a few. After last year's tragic ceremony where they took advantage of hot fad plague closing the theaters for 2020 to go full gay cowboys eating pudding and rack up the woke points, 2021 saw more movies being seen in theaters. Not that Oscar wants to acknowledge what the hoi polloi paid money to see. Now, we're not going to run down the entire list of nominations, but focus on the 9 categories I try to catch as many of the nominees as I can. Best Picture, Director, Original and Adapted Screenplays, Cinematography, and the 4 acting categories. In 2020, I saw 44 of the 49 nominees, and in 2021, 32 of the 48. This year, there are 50 nominees now that they fixed the Best Picture category to 10 slots. So far, I've seen 8. So, I've got a lot of work to do, and so do you. So let's get this party started with Best Picture. The nominees are Belfast, Coda, Don't Look Up, Drive My Car, Dune, King Richard, Licorice Pizza, Nightmare Alley, The Power of the Dog, and West Side Story. Looking at this list, I've only seen 3 of the movies so far, Don't Look Up, Dune, and Nightmare Alley, all of them on streaming, and I have one question. Where the heck is House of Gucci? We watched the movie the night before the nominations came out, and it seemed like this was going to get a whole bunch of everything, and it got a whole lot of nothing. The only nomination it got was for Best Hair and Makeup, not even for Costume Design, and not for Lady Gaga, despite the Screen Actors Guild giving an ensemble, Best Actress, and Best Supporting Actor nomination to Jared Leto for the same movie. Is it the best movie of the year? No, but it's better than Don't Look Up, so what's the deal? Some people are wondering, hey, where's Spider-Man No Way Home? Yeah, right. The Academy hates movies that people have seen. No comic book movie has ever been nominated other than Black Panther, and that's because of the black. Remember, they expanded the Best Picture field to more than 5 nominees because The Dark Knight got snubbed. And did they use those extra slots to possibly acknowledge some movies people have seen? Pretty much no. They just put more gay cowboys eating pudding movies in. And pretty much that's what they're doing here. Now, I don't want to go into predicting who's going to win, because I haven't seen enough of the nominees, and I might do a video as to who I would vote for. But you can pick up some clues from the other categories, so let's move on to Best Director. Kenneth Branagh for Belfast, Ryusuke Hamaguchi for Drive My Car, Paul Thomas Anderson for Licorice Pizza, Jane Campion for The Power of the Dog, and Steven Spielberg for West Side Story. Looking at the nominations for Best Director, that means of the Best Pictures, Coda, Don't Look Up, Dune, King Richard, and Nightmare Alley all directed themselves. That's a weird oversight. Also, when we get into the acting nominations, notice how many acting nominations are in for movies that are not nominated, and notice how many of these movies did not get any acting nominations. There's a very strange disconnect happening here. Looking back at the Best Picture list, one thing will pop out to you. You've probably heard of none of these movies, some of them you've seen on streaming. None of them made a lot of money. The most popular movie on this list is Dune, and that was only number 13 in the domestic box office for 2021. The rest of the movies are way down from there. West Side Story was number 36, and it was a bomb. King Richard was number 56, but that was also hurt by the fact that it premiered simultaneously on Hobo Max. Licorice Pizza, number 61, Nightmare Alley, number 63, another flop, and it's already on streaming, and Belfast at number 69, but that was more of an art house flick. This is basically Kenneth Branagh's Roma. If you saw Roma, you know exactly what I mean. So, once again, with the opportunity to acknowledge at least something, throw a bone to Spider-Man. You don't have to give it a trophy. It won't win a trophy, but it's got $1.7 billion globally in the till. Doesn't that count for anything? We'll go over where you can see these at the end of the video. Now, moving on to the acting categories. Best Actor, Javier Bardem, Bernadette Cumberbatch, Andrew Garfield. No, not for Spider-Man. Will Smith and Denzel Washington. Snubbed this year, Bradley Cooper for Nightmare Alley, who gives an excellent performance. He always gets kind of knocked down because, well, he's extremely handsome, and apparently you're not supposed to be very talented and very handsome, but he is. And he gives a really good performance in a movie that I actually didn't hate, considering it's Guillermo del Toro, who I find incredibly overrated. But also missing, Nicolas Cage for Pig. This is a movie that everybody thought was a joke when the trailer came out. It looked like, oh, it's gonna be John Wick but with a pig, and Nicolas Cage is just gonna be, Nicolas Cage. But he actually gives one of his best performances in a long time. A serious performance with no hysterics. And the movie is good. It's on Hulu. Go see it. Do it after this video is over, and you'll understand why I think he should be in this conversation. Moving on to Best Actress, Jessica Chastain, Olivia Colman, Penelope Cruz, Nicole Kidman, and Kristen Stewart. Now this brings up one of my biggest bugbears I've had for the Oscars. I should do a video about this. And that's what I call imitation performances. Now actors understand that creating a character, taking what's on the page and bringing it to life is the challenge, the thing that acting is about. 3 of these nominees are imitation. Jessica Chastain is playing Tammy Baker, Nicole Kidman's playing Lucille Ball, and Kristen Stewart's playing Lady Diana. There's tons of reference material for them. It becomes an imitation, just like Rami Malek playing Freddie Mercury. Now, that's not to say they're bad performances. Of all of these, I've only seen Eyes of Tammy Faye so far, and it's a good performance. But they're starting off on second base with plenty of references to how to get to home. And isn't that cheating a little bit? Again, the big snub here, Lady Gaga. She drives the movie, and when she's sidelined for most of the third act, the pacing really slows down. How does she not get nominated? Moving on to Best Supporting Actor, Ciarán Hinds, Troy Kotsur, Jesse Plemons, J.K. Simmons, and Cody Smith-McPhee. Now, there's only one imitation performance, J.K. Simmons as William Frawley from Being the Ricardos, but again, this is the thing. Snubbed, Jared Leto for House of Gucci. Now, this was a polarizing performance, with some people loving it and some people absolutely hating it. I liked it, and he was so unrecognizable under the makeup that it was about an hour in before Hermione said, "Hey, that's Jared Leto, isn't it?" It's one of those situations like Tropic Thunder when you finally realized it was Tom Cruise. So, no soup for Jared. Best Supporting Actress, Jessie Buckley, Ariana DeBose, Judi Dench, Kirsten Dunst, and Anjanou Ellis. No imitations here. Wow, this is all acting. Moving on to the screenplay categories. Best Adaptive Screenplay, Coda, screenplay by Cian Heder. Drive My Car, screenplay by Ryosuke Hamaguchi and Takamasa Oe. Dune, John Spates, Denis Villeneuve, and Eric Roth. The Lost Daughter, written by Maggie Gyllenhaal, who also directed, and The Power of the Dog, written by Jane Campion, who also directed. Best Original Screenplay, Belfast by Kenneth Branagh, Don't Look Up by Adam McKay, King Richard by Zach Baylin, Licorice Pizza by Paul Thomas Anderson, and The Worst Person in the World by Eskil Vogt and Joachim Trier. Now, if you've never heard The Worst Person in the World, it's because it's foreign. Also, Paul Thomas Anderson, both in this and directing and picture, is the new Woody Allen. Since Woody Allen has been unpersoned and they need to give somebody an art house nomination every year, P.T. Anderson, he's the guy. And finally, Best Cinematography, Dune, Nightmare Alley, The Power of the Dog, The Tragedy of Macbeth, and West Side Story. I've seen Nightmare Alley and Dune, and Nightmare Alley is a great-looking movie. Also, apparently they've done a re-release in black and white in the theaters. I don't know if this is going to be available on home video. It's not the streaming version that's out there now. But for this kind of movie, that could be really cool. Now here's a fun fact. With Belfast, Branagh becomes the first person to ever earn 7 Oscar nominations in 7 different categories. He was nominated for directing, producing, and writing the original screenplay for the film, Belfast. Branagh has been previously nominated for Best Actor and Director for Henry V, Best Live Action Short Film for Swan Song, Best Supporting Actor for My Week with Marilyn, and Best Adapted Screenplay for Hamlet. He clearly needs to start picking up the pace before he does nothing with his life. Now, reviewing what's going on here, what's weird is that Being the Ricardos got 3 acting nominations, but no writing, directing, or picture nomination. Power of the Dog has 3 acting nominations, but has also been nominated for picture, director, cinematography, the works. That puts it sort of in the fast track. But when you start looking at the other movies, they either have 1 or no nominations. Don't Look Up, which has no business being here. It's not a good movie. I've had so many people say, "You should watch Don't Look Up. It's really good." No, it's not. If you've seen Network or Wag the Dog, that's what good movies look like. Don't Look Up is a bad movie. Maybe I'll discuss it in another video, but right now, it's not a good movie. And don't go into the comments and tell me, "Hey, it's like the 3rd most watched thing on Netflix." So what? People like Nickelback. But Don't Look Up, Drive My Car, Dune, and Licorice Pizza have no nominations. I mean, when you start cross-referencing the best pictures that don't have best directors and no actors, and sometimes no screenplays, how are they the best picture? Now, back when there were only 5 Best Picture nominees, there would occasionally be a mismatch between Best Picture and Director, and the movie that didn't have its director was usually counted out, but now it's like half of them. Again, I don't want to go through predicting what's going on, but face it, The Power of the Dog is probably going to get a good chunk. You don't get that many of everything, especially when written and directed by Jane Campion, who was the first woman to be nominated for a Best Directing Oscar for The Piano about 30 years ago. They may be looking to make up for that, especially with Chloe Zhao winning last year. Never underestimate the power of wokeness to skew your betting pool. In fact, when in doubt, always choose woke. By the way, if you lose money, no refunds. Why are you listening to me? I'm just a guy on the internet. If you want to check out the nominees for yourself, here's where you can see them. Don't Look Up, The Power of the Dog, The Lost Daughter, and Tick Tick Boom are all on Netflix. Coda and The Tragedy of Macbeth are on Apple TV+. Nightmare Alley is on Hulu and HBO Max already. Spencer is also on Hulu. Beating the Ricardos is on Amazon Prime. Belfast is available for rental or buying, or if you know where to look. Dune and King Richard both were on Hobo Max, but are not currently there, and it's not known if they're going to come back in time before the Oscars on March 27. However, West Side Story will be coming to Hobo Max on March 2nd, so you can catch that. Drive My Car is a foreign film, and it's in theaters now, but also if you know where to look. Finally, Licorice Pizza is in limited art house release, but it has no streaming date announced yet. So, once again, Hollywood doesn't care if we've seen the movies, just as long as they've seen the movies. Don't forget to tune in, because maybe Beyonce is going to sing her song. Anyway, that's the rundown. Which of the movies have you seen? Who do you think should win? Who do you think got snubbed? Leave us a comment. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe this video, and follow us on our various anti-social media things available in our link tree in the comments. Y'all stay safe out there. See you next time.